There's always been a really special bond. I don't think I've ever gotten along with anybody as well. I don't think I've ever trusted anybody as much. Or being able to just be as, I'd say, open and vulnerable.
You see anything in his conduct with you that concerns you at all?
No, it's a little bit confusing to explain. So, Tom, while not inappropriate with me, I've trusted him more than anybody. I've been comfortable, but there's always something kind of skeezy.
I've never seen anything quite like this before. This is a case out of California. Jade Janks, who you saw there, interior designer, accused of killing her stepfather. And there she was describing that relationship with her stepfather. The alleged motive in this one is that she came across on his computer pictures of herself without any clothes. Without any clothes on the stepfather's computer. That's what the prosecution is alleging is the motive behind all of this. Julia Jade, Court TV legal correspondent, has the whole story for us tonight.
So I drugged him up. He's in the back seat.
39-year-old Jade Janks is on trial for the murder of her former stepfather, Thomas Merriman. The 64-year-old was the co-founder of Butterfly Farms, a research and education nonprofit dedicated to the conservation of butterflies.
If you're a butterfly, 1 or 2 eggs laid out of 100 will become an adult butterfly. So the odds are pretty bad.
Prosecutors believe back on New Year's Eve of 2020, Janks drugged, strangled, and suffocated her ex-stepdad with a plastic bag after she found out Merriman was using a stolen nude photo of her as his desktop wallpaper.
Did you find dozens and dozens and hundreds of photos of Miss Janks?
No, there was one photo that I was able to locate, and it was saved as the desktop background on the computer.
It was a nude photo of Miss Janks?
It appeared so.
Prosecutors claim the discovery of the nude photo left Janks disturbed to her core and prompted her to plan out his murder. Merriman's body was found outside of his home, hidden under a pile of trash on January 2nd, 2021.
Once you remove the black bag, what happened next?
I was able to see the silhouette of a body, and I stopped. And I told my technician to go and get the lead detective.
The defense claims Janks loved her former stepfather and helped take care of him. Despite her mother divorcing him, they contend Merriman's death was his own doing and that he took a fatal dose of prescription pills that killed him.
We can see a lot of medications listed under the name of Thomas Merriman. Where did you find these medications?
So I made this list from reviewing photos of the search of the houses, the actual crime scene area, as well as our search of the vehicle.
Jade Janks pleaded not guilty to the murder of her former stepfather, and a jury decides whether Janks will face life in prison or if there's enough reasonable doubt to send her home with a not guilty verdict.
And Court TV will be bringing you gavel-to-gavel coverage of this trial coming up in the near future. In the meantime, let's bring back in our think tank Bernardo Villalona, Philip Dubé, Brian Watkins. Bernard, have you ever seen a case quite like this?
This sounds a bit familiar. I have an issue, though, with this case. But for that photograph that he found, I think it probably would be an easier case for the prosecution to try. But I see jury nullification because when you hear about this man who's supposedly someone who helped raise you or was part of the family, have a naked photo of you, not just like in his photo section, but as the backdrop on his desktop, I see jury nullification, possibly an acquittal, if not an acquittal, a compromise, but not a conviction on the top charge.
Philip Dubé, this is a case where, and in any case, you know, prosecutors got to try to make the victim humanized in there. What do you think the defense does here? I mean, do they try to put the victim on trial?
Oh, of course. They're going to try to show that he was in poor health, you know, that maybe he was an opioid addict, that he drugged himself, maybe he had hardening of the arteries, and before you know it, he sort of asphyxiated, had respiratory suppression from all these meds. That would probably be the angle. Alternatively, go for a manslaughter. You know, you're finding a screensaver of your own naked body on stepdad's computer. I mean, that would cause anybody to become unhinged. Now, whether or not it would lead to drugging stepdad and then choking him out, that's going to be a jury question. That may be just a little too thought out and premeditated to cut her loose on a nullification or even a manslaughter type theory. It's a wait and see, but this is a tough, rough fact pattern. It'll be interesting to see what the forensic pathologist shows, what kind of neck compression, if any, there was, if there was any damage to his throat anatomy, you know, so for example, was the hyoid bone broken? Because that shows a level of strangulation that really does demonstrate an intent to kill and an intent to end a life.
Brian Watkins, everyone keeps talking about jury nullification. Why don't you tell us what jury nullification is in case there's anyone who's not quite familiar with the phrase?
Jury nullification is basically when a defense sort of pitches to the jury like, yeah, she did it, but so what? The guy had it coming. Who cares? You know, it's technically she's guilty, but jury nullification is basically we don't care. She did it, and he had it coming to him, and we're just going to let her walk.
Bernard, as a prosecutor, what would you say to the jury about the naked photo? I mean, because it's a double-edged sword, right? Because on the one hand, it makes your victim look really bad, but on the other hand, it is the motive, alleged motive.
It is, and what the prosecution is going to have to argue to the jury and make it in plain common sense that the defendant is not entitled to play judge, jury, and executioner. If anything, that she should have went through the court system to try to get some kind of justice in that way, as opposed to go through the steps of taking the life away of this individual. But just like Phil said, I think the prosecution does have in its favor the exact planning of it and also the hiding of the body afterwards. And that plays in the favor of the prosecution. Because if it was something that, oh, I just found out and I'm acting in the thoughts of what just happened and what I just saw, there was too much planning for it to come out that way.
Yeah, really a fascinating case, and one unlike any I've ever seen before. Again, you will see it right here on your front row seat to justice. All right, up next, folks.